Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'd like to talk about correct style. It's very important. I'll tell you why. I've written a lot. Correct style in scientific English. Well, it's taught at several universities. I know about American universities. I don't know about British universities because they don't advertise it. But American universities, they advertise that some universities advertise that they teach it. Good style is practically the same all the time, whether it is scientific English or general English, and it doesn't even depend on the language, actually, because I've spoken to a Hungarian linguist, and she told me that what I wrote about English is practically true in Hungarian too. So it doesn't depend on the language, it doesn't depend on the field, okay, engineering, medicine, law, social sciences, doesn't matter. The first thing that's very important is simplicity and clarity. Simplicity, you understand simplicity? Clarity, what is clarity? Clarity means that you can understand it easily. Here's a very big problem. Many writers feel that a scientific text is more serious and scientific if it is more complicated. You have probably seen scientific texts like that. Many writers genuinely feel that they have to make it complicated to make it look important. However, complicated text is difficult to understand. Yes, and the writer is easily confused and makes more mistakes. Okay, so if you write in a complicated way, you are likely to make more mistakes. Yes. When an engineer designs a machine, they should make the machine small, light, and efficient. A scientific paper is the same. It should be small, light, and efficient. Okay, I'll talk more about that later. An engineer can't put unnecessary elements into a machine just because they look elegant, okay? Even if they make the machine, even if they increase the weight of the machine, reduce efficiency, but they seem more important, they make the machine seem more important, no. An engineer can't do that. Just the same, we can't do this with language and communication. Yes. Oh. Okay. Big publishers also expect simplicity and clarity. What you must understand about writing a scientific paper is that it should be optimized. A scientific paper is a form of communication, and communication is better if it is optimal. What do I mean by optimal? It conveys the most information with the least effort on the part of the reader. So it gives you much and requires little effort from you. Again, if you're an engineer, you understand that you want a machine, if an engineer designs a machine, you want a machine that gives you much and requires little. Like, for example, a car that can go fast but has a low fuel consumption. Okay, that's optimal engineering. The same with the language, it's the same with the scientific paper. And big publishers also expect simplicity and clarity. For example, what does Elsevier write on its own website? Here are the references. I didn't include the references here, but I've written about this, and you will find the references in the PDF file. Eliminate noise words. Okay, noise words. For example, instead of saying it should be noted that the insertion does this and that, you can just say the insertion does this and that. You don't need this. It should be noted. It is important to mention. Let me call your attention to the fact that it should be noted. Why? It doesn't carry information. Springer, when writing your manuscript, be as brief as possible without omitting essential details. Give all the information, but write in a short way, write a short text. A common mistake that authors make is trying to include too much information in their sentences. When sentences are long, most readers will have to read the sentence at least twice to understand the ideas presented. Sentences should not be 2 kilometers long. And this is an important idea. When sentences are long, most readers will have to read the sentence at least twice. If you write a sentence that the reader has to read twice or 3 times, that is bad style. Good style is if the reader reads the sentence once, they can understand everything completely from just one instance of reading the sentence. Your readers like you are busy, okay, and want to find the relevant information quickly, okay? Don't waste the reader's time, okay? Use short sentences. All right. Sometimes Springer says a sentence should be 20-25 words on average. Of course, a sentence can be longer, but don't make every sentence longer or very long. Keep it simple. Simple language is usually clearer, it's more precise. Many authors incorrectly assume that they should use complicated language as they are often describing something that is sophisticated. Yes, I understand. You can write about something very sophisticated in your scientific article. Yes, that's true. About a very, very complicated process or technology. But that doesn't mean that the language should be complicated too. Because if the language is complicated, it can confuse the reader and weaken your message. Weaken your message. Nature. Okay, that's a big journal too. To reach their goal, papers must inform, not impress. Okay? They must be highly readable, clear, accurate, and concise. Okay. Science. Write concisely. Write even though and not in spite of the fact that. Don't make it unnecessarily long. Purdue University, that's an American university. Yes. Words and phrases should be deliberately chosen for the work they're doing. Like bad employees, words that don't accomplish enough should be fired. Words that don't convey enough information should be omitted. William Strunk, he was a professor of English like 100 years ago, but it doesn't matter. Vigorous writing is concise. He's a professor of English. He was a professor of English. A sentence should contain no unnecessary words and a paragraph no unnecessary sentences for the same reason that a drawing should have no unnecessary lines. Yes? You make a technical drawing. It should not have unnecessary lines. Yeah, that's very logical. And the machine, no unnecessary parts. This requires not that a writer make all his sentences short. They don't have to make all the sentences short or avoid detail. But that every word tells, this means that every word has an impact. Every word conveys information. And this is my favorite, Duke University's Scientific Writing Resource online course. Duke University is a big university in America. Like in 1 year, it was according to one ranking, it was the 22nd or 23rd best university in the world. Okay, so it's an important university. Scientific writers sometimes needlessly inflate their writing in length and complexity in effort to sound scientific or convey intelligence. In truth, this is very important, and I believe it very much. In truth, it takes a deeper understanding to explain a complex topic simply and succinctly. Okay, simply. You can only explain, for example, relativity simply if you understand it very well. If you can only explain it in a very difficult way, it means you don't understand it enough. Okay, that's very important. And here, I put it in red. okay? The best scientists can communicate complicated results to intelligent readers outside their field. Long, complex writing does not imply good science. Complex writing, complicated writing is not good science. I fully agree with it. I didn't say it. Duke University said it, but I fully agree with it. Okay? Which means I consider myself an intelligent outsider, so I should understand any scientific text, if it is written correctly, whether it is in medicine, geology, physics. I should understand everything because I am intelligent, okay? I don't know very much, but I am intelligent, okay, outside their field, intelligent reader outside their field. So if I read something and I don't understand it, it means it is not written correctly. If we can agree that I am intelligent. Get rid of unnecessary words, phrases, and sentences. Okay, don't use anything that's unnecessary. We don't need these. It is worth noting that. If it is so important, then the reader can understand it from the data. I don't need to consider the reader stupid enough to understand it, or not clever enough to understand that it is important. It is important to realize that. Let us not forget that. Okay, we don't need that. Now this is a very important thing. Do not write sentences like this. It does not carry information. The tensile curve can be seen in figure 1. Does this sentence carry information? No. If the reader looks at figure 1 and under figure 1 you wrote tensile curve, then we don't need this sentence. It's unnecessary. Don't write sentences like this because this is bad style. Instead, this is a good sentence. The peak temperature of the endothermic curve shifted towards higher temperatures. Okay, this sentence says something, and you can see it in figure 1. This is correct. This is correct reference to figure 1. This is correct, but looks stupid. Many authors like to use complicated words. Okay, don't. They also often mean something else, like instead of improve, some people like to say ameliorate. Instead of show, some people like to say elucidate because it sounds so important. Yes, but many of the readers will not understand it, and they will have to use a dictionary to understand the scientific article. And do you think that a professor who reads your article and who has to use a dictionary to understand it, do you think the professor will like your article? Do you think he will cite it? No. If he doesn't like it, he will probably not cite it. Okay? So don't anger the reader with stupid things like this. Okay. Well, in the conclusion section, don't repeat the abstract chapter. And do not copy entire sentences from it because it's not new information. Only write what is new information. Focus on the results instead. In the conclusion section, focus on the results. Of course, in the conclusion section, you may want to mention the problem, okay, but not you don't need as many details as in the abstract chapter. Do not write about your own article. It sounds stupid. Do not write. In the first chapter, I will explain this and that. In the second chapter, I will tell you how we measured it. You don't need to write it because the reader will see it. Now, this is number 3. That's a completely different thing. First, we talked about simplicity. Now we talk about sentence structure. Number 1. Sentence structure, number 1. Long, complicated things should be at the end of the sentence. It's a very general rule of English. English has axioms, like mathematics, okay? Like, mathematics has a lot of axioms, okay? I have invented some axioms of English, or not invented, discovered, okay? They already exist, they already existed. I just discovered them. One axiom of English is that long, complicated things like to be at the end of the sentence. If long, complicated things are at the end of the sentence, it's good style. If they are not at the end of the sentence, it's less good style or terrible style. Depends on the sentence. Let me give you an example. I'll only give you one simple example. It's a very simple example, but it will do. Put the book on the table. Is this sentence correct? Okay, please put the book on the table. Is this correct? Yes. How about the word order? Put the book, or put this book on the table. Is it correct word order? Yes. What is not correct word order? Put on the book table. Okay, this is not correct. But put the book on the table, this is correct. So put, that's the verb. The book, that's the object. On the table, where? Where should come at the end. However, if the book is very long, what happens? I'll tell you what happens. Put on the table the book that you bought yesterday, even though I told you not to. What did the long book do? Go to the end. Can you do it with a short book? Put on the table the book. Is that correct? No, it isn't. But if the book is very long, it must go to the end. Put on the table the book that you bought yesterday, even though I told you not to. Okay? This was a very, very simple example, but this is a very general rule of English. It's an axiom. A very general rule of English. All right. This automatically means that the subject of the sentence should not be long. The subject, what is the subject? The subject is the doer, okay? It should not be very long. Okay, without the verb, we don't know what the subject is doing or what the sentence is all about. As a result, okay, this is I cited it. I didn't write it myself. The reader focuses attention on the arrival of the verb and resists recognizing anything in the interrupting material as being of primary importance. So, the phenomenon that we measured when we were doing the experiment yesterday after lunch did this. Okay, the subject should not be very long because we just can't accept the subject as important until we hear what the verb is. Follow a grammatical subject as soon as possible with its verb. Yeah, here it is. Put the book on the table. Put on the table the book. That's incorrect. Put on the... Yeah, here's the sentence I told you. Long subject is incorrect style. I underline the subject. Injection molding, which has been used for more than a century due to its low cost per item if used for mass production, is, that's the verb, the most widely used plastic processing technology. This is not correct because the subject is very long. I underline the subject with a single line like we did in primary school, okay? We can break the sentence into several sentences. Injection molding has been used for more than a century. If it is used for mass production, the cost per item is low. It is the most widely used plastic processing technology. The subjects are short. Okay, 3 subjects, all are short. This is good style. This is bad style. It is similar when the subject is a long list. Okay, like melt temperature, holding pressure, holding time, residual cooling time, shot weight, and mold temperature are important technological variables. Yes, but this long list is the subject. The subject shouldn't be long. Shorter subject. Important technological variables include, and the long list is at the end where it belongs. It belongs in the end. Long subject. Mathematical models that can adequately describe the bonding of amorphous and semi-crystalline thermoplastics, even with fiber reinforcement, will be created. Okay, here's the verb. A very long subject, please note. One solution is to use the active voice. Here the problem was the passive voice. We will create, no problem. We is short, and the long thing is at the end. However, if we want to use the passive, because we don't know who did it, of course, it's possible we don't know who did it, so we want to use the passive. Although this is less likely here, because if it's in a scientific article, it's probably we who will do it, but okay, let's use the passive. Mathematical models will be created which can adequately describe, or mathematical models will be created to describe. Both are possible, and the subject is short. Okay, so the long thing should come at the end. It's similar, not exactly the same, but similar. Put new information at the end of the sentence and old information at the beginning. This is called cohesion. Why? The beginning of the sentence refers back to previous information, and new information is at the end. Okay, let me give you an example. We are in a geography lesson. Okay, I am the student. My answer to the geography teacher is, the capital of Hungary is Budapest. What was the question? Can you tell me what the question was? My answer is, the capital of Hungary is Budapest. What was the question? Tell me. What is the capital of Hungary? Okay? What is the capital of Hungary? The important new information is the capital of Hungary. My answer, the capital of Hungary is Budapest. Where is the important new information? At the end. Believe me, it's the same in Hungarian. If you translate it into Hungarian, it sounds the same. Okay? Linguists call the end of the sentence stress position and the beginning of the sentence topic position. The beginning of the sentence is called topic position when we talk about style. Here some good sources write that it's very important. Okay, here's a good example. Let's look at this sentence. Bees disperse pollen. What are we talking about? We are talking about bees, okay? The story is about bees, and we say something new about bees. What is new about bees? That they disperse pollen. Okay, but in another story, pollen is dispersed by bees. We are talking about pollen, that's the new known information, and bees is the new information. Okay. Both are equally good, but the stress is different. So, place appropriate old information in the topic position at the beginning and new information at the end. In our experience, the displacement of old and new information turns out to be the #1 problem in American professional writing today. Okay, that's about Native Americans, okay? This source, which is a very respectable source from a university, this source says that the biggest problem is the misplacement of old and new information. So believe me, it's an important thing. Let me give you an example. I have devised a nice story. Yeah, I like cars. Okay, I like cars. If you start the sentence with new information, the reader receives it without content. Okay, and that's not good. Makes it difficult. Here's a text in red, which is not good style. Petrol engines are different from diesel engines. That's okay. Better efficiency and lower fuel consumption made diesel engines very popular. Now, look, Petrol engines are different from diesel engines, that's okay. Better efficiency. Where the hell did better efficiency come from? Okay, in Hungarian, I could ask, hogy került a csizma az asztalra? Okay, where the hell does it come from? Alright, continue. Make diesel engines very popular. Higher compression ratios make better efficiency, blah, blah, blah. Diesel engines are popular. Where the hell did higher compression ratio come from? Where did it come from? Okay? Make lower fuel consumption possible. Okay, for diesel engines, okay? Higher compression ratios make better efficiency and therefore lower fuel consumption possible for diesel engines. Petrol engines have 50 to 100% lower compression ratios. Now, where does petrol engines come from? Bad style. You don't understand why it is bad style? Let me show you good style. Petrol engines are different from diesel engines. Diesel engines are very popular because of their better efficiency and lower fuel consumption. Better efficiency and therefore lower fuel consumption are the result of higher compression ratios. The compression ratio of a diesel engine is 50 to 100% higher. Can you feel the difference? The sentences are connected logically. Can you feel the difference? Okay, this is very, very different. Now, this is a simple text. Imagine if it's a difficult scientific text. This is a simple text, okay? And anyway, the source said this is the #1 problem in American professional writing, okay? Okay, so I solved the problem. I solved the #1 problem of professional writing in America. Yeah, here's the example. Passive voice has a different word order than active voice. Okay, the word order in passive voice, I did this. This was done. Okay, the word order is different. We know that in English, word order is very strict. You cannot change word order very much. Okay, so if I say, like, the book is on the table, you can't change it very much. Perhaps you can say, on the table is the book, but I wouldn't say that. It sounds very stupid. Okay, so you can't really change word order. So we need legal possibilities to change word order. What is one legal possibility? The passive voice. With the passive voice, you can legally change the word order. So if you need to put this information here and that information here, you can use the passive voice creatively. Okay? The passive voice is good for changing the word order. Example of text without cohesion. Most plastic products in household are manufactured by injection molding. American inventor John Wesley Hyatt and his brother invented injection molding. All right. We are talking about injection molding. There's a new information. And where does American inventor come from? Please no. No cohesion. How about this? Most plastic products in household are manufactured by injection molding. Injection molding was invented. Okay? Now that has cohesion. How did we pull it off? We pulled it off by changing this sentence into the passive. So here we use the passive voice creatively. Okay? Yes, that's one way of using the passive voice to change the word order. The action should be expressed by a verb and the actor should be the subject. Okay? The action, okay, what you do, should be expressed by a verb. What is a verb? Go, come, eat, sit, analyze, experiment with something. Readers expect the action to be a verb. If the action is not in a verb, that makes it difficult to understand. All right, I'll give you simple examples, but think of a really complicated sentence. Don't think of a simple example. Okay. We performed an analysis of the sample. What is the action? Analyze. We analyze something. Is analysis a verb? No. What is the verb? Perform. Perform. What did we do? We analyzed. We didn't perform anything. We analyzed. Analysis is a noun. No, that's ugly. Beautiful. We analyzed the sample. Thank you. This is good English. Okay? Analyze verb. But when we put it into a noun form, it can refer back. Okay? So when you do it, it should be a verb. But when you talk about what you did before, it can be a noun. Okay? We analyze the sample. Okay, verb. The analysis showed nothing wrong. We refer back to the analysis after we did it. Analysis, no problem, after the action. But during the action, please no. Okay? When you do it, it should be a verb. After you do it, it can be a noun, no problem. Analysis. Okay? That's when it should be used. Yes? Do you understand it? Yes. Everybody understands it. Okay. Yes, the structure of paragraphs and text. Okay, how about the bigger units of the article? The first step is to decide what should be included in the different chapters. Okay, an article has chapters. All right, but they are standard chapters: abstract, introduction, conclusion. Okay, almost all articles have the same chapters. Okay, you should decide what should be in the abstract, what should be in the introduction. Okay. In a study, it's okay because it has standard chapters. However, within a chapter, a well-structured text consists of paragraphs. So in a good text, like imagine an essay. Okay, imagine an essay. A good essay is made up of paragraphs. And, all right. An essay or a text or a chapter, okay, has several paragraphs, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, not 55, that's too much, okay, so don't make it too much, or too many, sorry. Imagine an essay like, I have to write an essay about Hungarian or Budapest public transport. Okay? There is an introduction. Okay? I will write about Budapest public transport. Then I'd like to talk about punctuality. Okay? Are they ever late? Okay? Are buses and trams ever late? Okay, that's one paragraph. Are they clean? Okay, that's another paragraph. And there may be some other paragraphs, and there's a conclusion. All in all, I think that Budapest public transport is this and this and this. Okay. Now, a text has several paragraphs. Each paragraph has a first sentence. It is called the topic sentence, which summarizes the paragraph. Summarizes. And then the other sentences detail it. Okay, let me give an example. Public transport, paragraph, are they clean? Okay, I'll talk about how clean they are. First sentence, which summarizes the paragraph, I think buses have problems with cleaning, or I think buses are not clean enough. Okay? And then I detail it. For example, yesterday I was traveling on bus number 34 and I saw this and that. Okay, I detail it. But the first sentence summarizes the paragraph. I mean, this was not a very good example, this public transport example. But this gives the text a structure. Okay? each paragraph details a main idea, one idea, okay, and explains the idea. Now, why is it a problem in scientific texts? Yeah, the first sentence is summarizes the main idea. Unfortunately, it is a common mistake that the writer does not group the sentences into paragraphs. The writer starts writing and writes 176 sentences, okay, and the whole chapter is one continuous flow of sentences, okay? Often happens. And sometimes it means that the writer writes something and forgets that they wrote this already and write the same thing 25 sentences later. Because it has no structure. The main ideas are not grouped, okay, together, or are not, they are not put in order. So in order to write clearly, it's best if you put your ideas in paragraphs and write in paragraphs. They teach it in journalist schools. They teach this to journalists at the university. You know, that if you look at a really good article in a newspaper, you can see this, okay? If you look at a good article. And also, if the sentences do not follow logically from each other, it makes the text confusing. You also have to put your ideas in paragraphs, and the paragraphs should follow logically from one another. When a writer just writes sentences one after the other, I often feel that the sentences do not follow logically from each other. Yes. Okay. And often writers write too much about the results. Okay? Presenting the results in tables and figures is shorter and clearer. Okay? Of course you have to write about tables and figures, but not everything. Okay? You don't have to write every piece of data in the text. Okay? You can write general tendencies. You can write about general tendencies. This is a general tendency, you can see it in this figure, or whatever. Or sometimes writers write, there is a figure, okay, or a graph, and they say, between 1 and 2, there is a sharp increase. Between 2 and 5, increase is less sharp. Okay, there is a plateau between 5 and 6, and the values decrease after 6. Okay, you don't have to write so much about the figure because you can see the figure. Everybody can see the figure. If you get novel or unexpected results, of course you can write about them. If you are very surprised, why does it look like this? It shouldn't look like this. Of course you can write about it, but if it's expected, then you don't have to write very much about it. For example, the shape of the curves. Oh, okay, thank you. I only wanted to talk about this. Any questions?
Can we go back to the structure of these sentences, please, which refer to cohesion? So we say...
Yeah.
So it means, so the topic position and the end is the stress position.
Yeah, topic position is the beginning, stress position is at the end, but it's just a linguistic term. It doesn't really matter much.
And this we call cohesion. So when we rephrase a sentence, or when we rephrase something, then we need to follow this kind of the cohesion philosophy.
Yes, that the sentences are connected. there is old information, you present some new information. Then you continue your thinking and continue talking about this new information, which becomes old information at the beginning of the next sentence. What you write must have a logical line of thought. So you introduce something new, and then this new thing becomes old information, and you say something else than this which is new. Okay, you talk about something, and then this you say something new, and then this thing becomes old in the next sentence. So it is just
like dominoes.
Yes. It makes it easier for the reader to follow your thinking. Okay? They can see that you went from here to here, and then from here to here. The reader doesn't have to jump to follow your thinking. Okay? Small steps. Only has to make small steps, so it is easier for the reader to follow your train of thought. Okay? So it is only to help the reader follow your thinking. Because our aim as writers is to convey a lot of information accurately, a lot of scientific information very accurately, but make it very easy for the reader to understand. We need this, we want this. That's good style, okay? Efficiency. For an engineer, if I say efficiency, they understand it at once. A piece of writing should be efficient. So our aim is to present the difficult things in a way which is very easy to understand for the reader. Yeah, that's the idea behind it.